Many people are Facebooking, MySpacing, and tweeting all day from their work and personal computers. But there may be a virus trying to attack your computer through social networking sites. Joining us today is Chip Reaves, the CEO of Computers Troubleshooters Global LLC, with some tips on how to protect your computer from social networking site viruses. Welcome, Chip.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
This weekend I was saying, Chip, that I had a friend whose Facebook account was corrupted, and I ended up getting some of these really strange messages. What can you tell us about the kind of viruses that are out there right now?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people are getting that these days, especially on Facebook, sometimes on Twitter, sometimes on MySpace, but especially on Facebook. And when people get it, they think, oh, somebody's hacked into my account, somebody's posting these things. It's not usually somebody. It's a piece of malware or malicious software that's out there basically trying to make money off of you by exploiting your Facebook identity.
So tell us a little bit more about this one virus in particular called KubeFace.
Well, KubeFace is interesting, and I didn't know a lot about it until a few weeks ago. We started researching into what's going on with these things. And what's really impressive about KubeFace, you think about these viruses, you think it's some disgruntled teenager in his mom's basement, lashing out at the world or whatever. That's not really what the world of malware is about these days. It's all about money. And these guys are trying to find different ways to make money off of you and off of your computer. KubeFace is a particularly good example of that. It's really an astounding piece of software because it looks at your computer when it infects your computer, and it has 26 different choices of ways it can take advantage of your computer to make money for the writers, and it chooses the ones that are best based on your situation.
So, Chip, can you talk to us about the kind of damage that a virus like KubeFace could do to your, personal computer, your work computer, and maybe even the networks?
Well, the actual damage to your computer and the networks is relatively minor with KubeFace. It used to be with the old school viruses and pieces of spyware that they'd cause more problems with your computer. But now, because it is a money-making enterprise, the longer your computer stays infected, the more money the writers make. And so they go out of their way to try to keep their activities unnoticed by you. So your computer could be being used, for example, to send out spam to other computers. It could be used as a server to send out more copies of the virus. It could be used to watch what you're typing in and look for sequences of credit card numbers or bank account information and this sort of thing. Where it does cause damage with the computers and the network, though, is these things are not particularly friendly pieces of software, and usually if you're susceptible to one infection, you start to get more than one, and the next thing you know, you've got 50, 100, 1,000 different bad pieces of software all tying up your computer trying to do the same job. It makes your computer run slow, it makes you get error messages, you get strange pop-ups, your computer can crash, those sorts of things. So that's where the actual local damage comes from.
And how can, you were talking about making money off of you, sending out spam. Can you specify a little bit more how they're able to make money off of the information that they're spying?
Sure. In fact, I looked it up this morning, not from my research, but there's a lot of companies in the industry like Norton, McAfee are probably the two that consumers know the best, but behind the scenes companies like Kaspersky and AVG and Trend Micro are really researching this and trying to stop these guys. And there is a whole black market for things that they can do with your computer. If they use your computer to send out spam, for every 1,000 spam messages, they get about, I think it's $4. If they use your computer to attack other computers, then for every 1,000 computers they're using in the attack, it can be anywhere from $25 to $50 per 1,000. So it's not a lot of money from your computer, but you tie a lot of these computers together and suddenly you've got a way to make money maliciously, illegally, unethically, but it happens.
And there's ways that you can protect yourself from these viruses. You talk about installing anti-virus spyware type software.
Sure. Your first line of defense and your best friend in all this is your antivirus program. People have known about antivirus programs for a long time. That's nothing new. You want to make sure that the antivirus program you've got today is both antivirus and anti-spyware, which most of them are. And I prefer you to use the paid versions. There's a lot of good free software out there that'll do it, but the paid versions tend to have better protection. Norton and McAfee, like I say, are probably the best known consumer versions, but most computer guys like a package called AVG. Trend Micro is also good, WebRoot's also good. You've got to have that package on your computer and make sure it's updated regularly. Don't let it expire. Don't let it stop downloading its updates, because new threats are coming out every day, so you've got to have the latest and greatest defense.
You also talk about claim your name, check your fame.
Well, the interesting thing about the social media aspect, when you're looking at Facebook and Twitter and how they're using your identity and your computer to attack others, is they're trying to go out to your friends. And they use these really clever messages. One of the first ones that I saw from CubeFace was I got a message from a friend that said, "LOL, I can't believe this is you in this video," and it had a link that claimed to be, the video. And I knew something was up, so I emailed back to my friend and said, "Hey, did you really send this?" And of course they hadn't. They were infected with CubeFace. So there's people out there that are trying to think of clever things they can put in a message to you from your friend that's going to make you want to click on that link. Maybe it's a get-rich-quick scheme, maybe it's a job offer, maybe it's are you in this video, whatever the case may be. They're pretty clever.
And you also talk about the importance of securing your browser.
Yeah, since everything we do on the internet is going through a web browser, whether it's Microsoft's Internet Explorer or Firefox or Safari or Chrome, these guys, because it is a money-making enterprise, they're constantly looking for ways to sneak in through the browser's defenses. The browsers don't want you to get infected, but there's so many things going on with websites and Flash and email and all these things, so people can find chinks in the armor. Almost every week there's new updates coming out for the major browsers. Make sure you get those updates so you're closing all those chinks as they're found.
And what's the cost related to protecting yourself from a virus? I'm assuming that installing anti-spy or antivirus spyware is going to cost some money.
It's not a lot. I mean, you can, like I said, there are some free versions that are pretty good. I prefer the paid versions. Generally, for a consumer level or a small business product, you're talking anywhere from $30 to $50 per PC. At an enterprise level, you can get that down to $20, even $15 per PC for large purchases.
And Chip, I'm assuming that's a very small investment in comparison to the time and energy to clean up your Facebook page.
Absolutely. It's a lot cheaper to prevent than to clean up afterwards.
Thanks very much, Chip.
ABC News Now. Good to know.